we're going to go ahead and get this started. So welcome to the stream. If you guys are tuned in, I really do appreciate y'all. I'm here with my boy, Max Van Landingham. Did I say that correctly?
Yep.
All right. D Lineman out of Northern State University. Everybody give Max a warm welcome. You know, I'm going to do snaps again. I don't got a sound bar, y'all. But first I'm going to ask you, Max, how have you been doing since you've gotten, back home from Northern State University?
Been good. Came home. We unfortunately didn't make the playoffs. Thanksgiving was a good time. Unfortunately got a little sick, but is what it is. But it's been a good time. Been home for a couple weeks. Just been, keeping the body fresh, just working out, trying to stay in shape, trying not to let the holidays get in the way. But it's been good.
That's
doing
awesome.
Good so far.
That's great to hear. I'm glad that you got to spend time with your family and get your body right.
Yeah.
Keep training and staying up on everything. We'll go ahead and start with the rest of these questions that I got written down. So, for the people who don't know who Max Van Landingham is, who is Max Van Landingham?
I'm a defensive end. I have a school called Northern State, like he said. It's in Aberdeen, South Dakota. It's a Division II school in the NSIC, which is, in my opinion, the second best conference in Division II, right?
Second best, yeah. MIAA, I'd say, is the best.
Okay, I don't know about that. But yeah, I've been there for about 6 years. Just finished up my career there. Enjoyed it a lot. I obviously love football. Did it for 6 years. Loved my school. Stayed at it. For all the eligibility that I had, including COVID. More than just a football player, I enjoy doing other things too. I'm big into music. I love to work out. But there's more to me than that. But football's been a big part of my life, and hopefully I can continue to be a part of that, or just athletics in some way. But yeah, that's me though so far.
That's great. The next question is, so how did football become the thing for you while you were growing up?
Yeah. So I actually was never really a football player until really my junior year of high school. Wow. But my freshman year, I started it, but I really wasn't taking it seriously or didn't consider it an actual sport I wanted to, pursue in college or get good at till my junior year. Yeah. It just really, because I had a great mentor of a coach. His name was Carl Klug. He played at the University of Iowa. He was a Tennessee Titans D lineman for 8 years, and he ended up being my coach at Page High School, which is where I went to high school, and really took me under his wing and taught me the ropes. And I was a very raw player. I didn't really know anything about the sport. Even at that point, I was still learning, and just really developed me into a guy that really was able to understand that position well, and ended up becoming a starter my junior year, and senior year was a starter through the whole season, and just ended up finding my passion for the sport and loving it, and just loving everything that goes into it, like the process, the off-season work, the film, everything about football. Just really fell in love with it, and just wanted to continue to do it, and even get to do it at the next level. And I thought that'd be D1, but it wasn't, and that's fine.
That's the way I'll think.
Yeah, that's the way I think. But it was D2, and I ended up getting to do what I loved at a higher level, and I enjoyed every bit of it. So, but it definitely was not a traditional route of doing it since I was 8 years old.
Yeah, no, and that's funny that you say that, because my path from high school to college is almost identical, because I didn't start playing football until high school, and like you said, freshman and sophomore year. I didn't touch the field at Franklin Road Academy until my junior year, when someone went down and I had to go in. And then senior year, same thing, started all senior year, and then ended up going to a Division II, playing there. So it's almost identical stories. And, that's kind of, an interesting, parallel, because a lot of times people can overlook, they think that oftentimes football players are, they play from, when they're 5 or 6 years old, but sometimes you can just fall in the right place. And if you have somebody like a mentor, you're talking about your coach, my head coach, and, the team that I had around me, it was kind of the same thing. They kind of helped me kind of start liking the sport, and, kind of going all in, especially when I had to start playing. Once I had to start playing, I was like, I can't let these guys down. That's when I put my head down and started working. That was awesome.
For sure. And even I remember I was in middle school, you had to try out for the team when I was in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And when I did it, I didn't make the team, and it was just one of those things, when I look back, it's I literally had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
Because I was a tight end at first, and I was I knew Rob Gronkowski was a good football player. That was it. And I just wanted to be like that. And then I changed to a DN later. But yeah, no, I got very fortunate to have a really great coach who I still talk to this day, to actually take me under his wing and, develop me and learn a lot from him. And if you got someone who's playing the league, it definitely is something you shouldn't like not take advantage of. Like you gotta take advantage of that. So I was very fortunate.
Yeah. Do people say that you look like Rob?
Oh yeah, all the time, dude.
You do look like him a little bit,
bro. All the time, bro. Seriously, it's just, I don't have what he has, but like in regards to the athleticness and just being that big ass dude.
Hey, give yourself more credit.
Okay,
give yourself more credit.
But yeah, no, everyone tells me I look like him all the time.
Yeah, that's awesome. So my next question is, what made Northern State University the home for you?
Yeah, well, I had a couple opportunities. Tennessee Tech was the biggest one, but it just didn't pan out, unfortunately. I had a couple potential preferred walk-ons opportunities at other D1 schools. I think UTM was one of them. MTSU, they liked me. Gardner-Webb was one. But they just never panned out. And then when I got the opportunity to go to Northern, I went on an official visit there, and they got me to come to the best weekend that happens on Northern State. It's called I Hate Winter Weekend. It's during basketball season.
Oh, okay.
It's like right at the start of the second semester or a little bit after the semester started. Everyone's wearing Hawaiian clothes, and it's big games, girls and boys basketball. There's a hot tub, and everyone's just
in the basketball
room?
room?
In the basketball arena. It's crazy, seriously. And everyone's
crazy.
dressed like it's like 95 degrees outside, but really it's like
it's cold
degrees.
in South Dakota.
Yeah. And I just really enjoyed it. I thought the coaches wanted me to come here. I really felt wanted, and everything about it I fell in love. And the biggest thing was just like they wanted me there, and that was the thing. My dad told me, like, you just got to go where the opportunity is. And we weren't even thinking about going to take a visit there, but we didn't want to miss an opportunity, with what they were presenting. So took that chance, and and the fact that they wanted me as much as they did, that was enough for me to be like, okay, this is where I want to be. Like, this is the coach I want to play for. This is the school I want to help, turn around in regards to the football program, because they were building a stadium, the big ass stadium at the time. So it was just, they wanted me to come there, and I just couldn't turn it down, and I loved it. So
that's awesome. That's an awesome answer, and I think that's good for anybody who's watching, who's going through that process of going from high school to college ball, and they have some multiple schools, or even any schools looking at them, because you don't want to just choose a school because they have all the flashy stuff, or because they say, oh, we'll play you at this position and you'll play here. You want to go there because they make it feel like home, and the coaches and the staff and all that stuff, they're talking to you and being personal with you and trying to build that relationship. So I think that's a really good thing, and I'm happy that you were able to experience that. Going into the next thing, so we're going to start talking more about football. So looking at your career at NSU, what are you most proud of?
I think I'm most proud of just the person I was able to become, like, and just the teammate I was able to be. I've never been a big accolade person. Like, I never had a lot. Like, my brother was a great athlete, had all these trophies, awards. Like, that was his thing. Like, he always got awards, and that was never really something I got. But I always try to pride myself when I was starting to become a better football player, just to be the best teammate I can be for my team, but also just to one a person or the other, and just always being there for them, having their back. So I think I'm just most proud of how I've been able to, like, change and just become a better person and player, whether that's on and off the field over time, because like my favorite thing when I was playing football was always being the guy that could be there to pick my teammates up, especially the ones that were banged up, or just even just were on the ground a lot, just being able to be there and lift them up as much as I could. Like, that was just my favorite thing every time I was on the field. So just being able to become the person I am today, I think that's what I'm most proud of.
That's an awesome answer. Being a good teammate, it goes a long way, and it can be a contagious thing when it spreads to the rest of the team, because when you do that, like how you said, uplifting your teammates and just kind of being there for them, it can come back to you. Like, for instance, like your teammate needs a ride somewhere, maybe their car broke down, next month, something happens with you and you need somewhere to go, and they'll help you out. I pat your back, you pat my back, kind of thing.
Sure.
So that's a great answer. The next thing about football, so being the 4th all-time in career sacks at Northern State, it doesn't happen by accident. So what clicked for you as a pass rusher in order to make that happen?
Yeah, I mean, it really goes back to even last year, like in 24. Like, we started out the season 0-4, and then at this point we had won a game late after we lost our 4th game. We ended up winning a game, and then the next game after that was against a really good team in Division II called Bemidji State, and it was Gypsy A's, which is our homecoming at home, obviously. You know, that what clicked for me there was at that point was just, you know, being able to use the abilities that I have, which is my length and how I'm a longer guy. And we ended up moving me inside a lot of that season at that point because the guards can't really handle my long arms. And once I was able to use that to my advantage, it was just kind of clicked on like just being able to use what I have against guys that don't have that same leverage. So that's kind of one thing. But I think also like just even on the edge and just being all around, you know, just being able to just go play free and stop thinking about bullshit really. And that could be a bunch of different things. It could be like, you know, doing your job, you know, doing the move as best as you can, you know, having, you know, wondering how you look, are you in a good stance, that and, you know, just not worrying about that stuff. And I learned that best from one of my teammates who's still at Northern. His name's Gabe Gutierrez, he's probably going to be the best defensive end in D2 next season. But he really taught me just to go out and be free and just don't think about anything, just go play. And once I started doing that and stopped caring about how my stance looked and if I was getting off the ball fast, like that's when it clicked for me and I was able to just like really just dominate as best as I could.
Yeah, that's an awesome answer. To relate to that, I remember my freshman and sophomore year in college, whenever I was playing at Missouri Western, and I played nickel and safety. I remember one of the guys that I was playing with, his name was Devin Burrell. A lot of time he told me that I would think too much. And sometimes at safety, you do have to think about the play like pre-snap. But, I mean, when the ball snapped, I mean, like, sometimes you just got to go and play ball. And 100%. At D-line, I mean, it's such a more raw position than being at safety. I'm not saying, like, you don't have to know the play call or anything. But being in that situation at D-line is so much more physically demanding, and sometimes like you just gotta let loose and you gotta do your job but just play ball at the same time and just play your game. So.
No, for sure. And I you know, and there's really a D line, like I think that's the biggest thing is with mentally, it's just it's so physically demanding and you get tired. Like I never came off the field, like me and my buddy Gabe before he got hurt, like we never came off the field because it just is a different game, like when you don't keep us on the field. And so you know, that's probably the biggest thing, but I think there's really no excuse to like overthink too much because being a D lineman, it's so simple. Like just get out, especially at D end, like just get off the ball, set the edge, or run, you know, slant left or right or long stick. Like it's just
slam
like,
your gap.
Like just don't. I mean, in the middle, like in the middle of the play, like there might be some like thinking there because you need to kind of react, but like just go and just play because like sometimes like it's not gonna. You doing your job is gonna help other people make the play. And, like you just don't really have a reason to think too much because we have the easiest position, easiest job out of everybody else on the field. So, but no, I think you're 100% right, and I just think like the more you think, like it's your mind will slow down your feet, and that's what I've always been told. And that once I stopped doing that, I was able to really use my abilities to the best of my ability.
No, that's awesome. That's an awesome answer. Let's go on to the next question.
Sweet.
So. What part of your game improved the most from your freshman year to your last year here at NSU?
It's all mental, really. I mean, like, I think, honestly, the mental game really took care of everything else for me. Like, I think I always, you know, I obviously always had my size and my height and my length and everything, and I was always a pretty fast guy. I mean, I got faster over the years, but really, I think the way I was able to just kind of go out and play, like I know I can't just not like just go have fun. Like when I was able to just go have fun, everything was just times 10. I feel like the way I was able to get off the ball, the way I was able to swipe hands, the way I was able to, you know, bull rush a guy, like it just was times 10 when you don't worry about anything. Like you just go react and have fun and play football, because it's just one thing that I was really bad at was just I didn't have fun for so long. I took it so seriously because I had a dream. I wanted to go play college football and try and be the best college football player I could be, and that took over of just what makes a college football player really good is just having fun. And once I learned to have fun in 2024 and then was able to carry that over halfway through this past season, I mean, it just everything just kind of took off for me. So
well, that's great. I'd say I agree with you too, because like I remember going into college football and everybody was saying, you know, the biggest thing is, you know, kind of slowing it down in your head because it's a lot faster than high school football, obviously. You know, the play calling and, you know, the offense getting into their formations and stuff like that, motioning, all that stuff it's a little bit more intense, and it's a lot more at a higher performance rate than when you played in high school. So some people, it might take them a minute to get used to, and that's okay. But eventually, like when it clicks, and when it slows down, I mean, you're just out there on the field, and you're just, like you said, you're on the field having fun and playing ball.
And it's funny you said, because like I remember my freshman year, which was COVID, which feels like forever ago.
Yeah, I know.
Like we were in helmets.
Old, man.
Yeah, seriously, dude. God, I'm 24 years old and I just finished my college career. Like it's crazy, but like I remember my freshman year was the first practice, and we weren't playing it. You didn't have a season at the time either.
No, we played 2 games. My COVID season, we only played 2 games.
Yeah, we played 1, I think. Or no, we did play 2. We played 2. But anyways, it was the fall, and we were literally just in helmets and jerseys, and it wasn't anything, like we were just doing a walkthrough basically, but at fast tempo.
Yeah.
And with how fast it was, I was like, oh my God. I called my dad. I'm like, I don't know if I could do this. I was like, oh no, with how fast it was. Because then even when we got pads, it was so much different. Like it was just like, now there's physicality to it as well. That was just crazy. And then I just remember like in my in spring ball last year, or in this past spring, I only did a little bit of spring ball because I hurt my back. But when the times I did do spring practice, like everything was just so much slower for me. Like I would get sacked, but I was able to see it so much slower.
Yeah.
The polar, when he came at me, it was so much slower. I could see the screen play coming.
Yeah,
like,
you could smell it.
Yeah, I could just see it coming. It slowed down for me. Like it was just like kind of one of those things. It's like, okay, like having fun and just like done it so much. It's like it's slowing down. Like I don't really need to. It's not going as fast anymore.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
I'm glad you said that, because it's good for everyone to hear if they're watching and maybe they're thinking and they're getting discouraged while they're going through just like the practice aspect of college football, like how you talked about spring ball and stuff. If like you're a younger guy and you're getting discouraged because maybe you're not making the plays you're thinking you're supposed to be making, like how you said, it just takes time, and then once that time is, you get that experience, and once you get that experience, then you really get that comfortability when you're out there, and then you're not as nervous anymore. And sometimes the play just comes your way, and like you're already ready for it, and you don't even have to prepare for it at all. It just happens like that kind of thing.
And I think that's like one thing that people, like players, sometimes forget is like, because like you train all in the off season, and you like summer, for example, and you feel your best, you're strong, you're fast, you're ready to go, and you're doing all these drills, and you're like, whether that's 7-on-7 for you guys, or like for me, it's 1-on-1s with a D lineman, and stopping at some point, or doing drills with my teammates. And it's like, you do all those things, but then but practice is really where you get better. And it's like, you do it for so long, it's like, you're like, oh, like I don't want to do this, but it's one of those things. It's like that's actually like where you see improvement. It's like, and you have to go like hard, because that's how I got better, was like going as hard as I could in practice, and just like treating it like a game, which is cliche to say, but it's just true. That's the only way you really get better, and you end up perfecting your craft and everything, which is hard for young athletes to realize when they're just entering college or even in high school. But like, it's just true. Yeah, because you gotta treat it the same way you do when in the off season.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta practice. You gotta practice like how you play, basically. And if you don't do that, then you're probably not gonna play good. So
no, for sure.
The next thing that we're gonna talk about is so you were named team captain this last year. So what does leadership mean to you?
Man, that means a lot. I mean, getting picked as team captain was just such an honor. Just like knowing that my teammates saw me as a team captain. I mean, I was one of 3. It wasn't just me. So but being one of those 3 was such an honor. But I mean, leadership is just such a big thing. But it's honestly it's big shoes to fill. Like not just one person, but just like that leadership role, because like they're seeing me as a guy that's going out there and can make a play for them when we need to make a play, or can be a contributing factor. And that's like, you gotta live up to that standard of what a team captain is, if that's the way you think of it. And that's the way I think of it, as on the defensive side.
Absolutely.
And just also staying the same person every day, which is tough, but I pride myself on always being positive and being that same positive factor on the team, and someone who could always make sure keep everything in perspective. Like, we're good. Like, let's stay relaxed, stay calm. But I mean, it means everything. I mean, if you don't have good leadership, you don't have a great core group. You know what I mean?
No, that's facts.
But it was such an honor, and I was really glad to have done it. But it's big shoes to fill. Like, you gotta be, like, especially if you're serious about your program means a lot to you, and your teammates mean a lot to you. You gotta be able to be a guy that can, never change. Like, don't ever be someone that you're not. And you gotta stay the same person, but also live up to the standard of, being a playmaker.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would always, whenever I was playing, I wasn't never on, any leadership council or a team captain or anything like that, but I would always try to make sure, like, if I was doing something, I'd try to lead by example, basically.
100%.
So, going to, weights, not being late to weights and meetings, not being late to those, practice, all that kind of thing. When you're in there, not, skipping reps, pushing yourself as much as you can. And then, if any young guy, when I was playing, especially, my junior and senior, if they asked me anything about the playbook, I wasn't the type of guy like, oh, I'm not gonna help you because I don't want to see you get better. I showed them all my notes, like, and I took notes on plays like a guru. Like, I wrote down everything, like, over and over. I got like 3 copies of almost the same plays for summer camps and fall camps, going through them. I got about 3 copies of notebooks of the same plays, and I would share them. I'd send pictures of them. I'd be like, this is what you do on this play. You blitz here, you drop here in this coverage. And I was always try to, that's what I would try to do, be as a leader.
No,
but
that's 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I like what you said though, when it comes to living up to those expectations that they place on you, because that's important too. Nobody's gonna want to follow somebody who is not leading by example and not doing what is expected of them.
No, for sure. And that's the thing also, is like, I think everyone sees you a certain way. Like for me, I was always the guy that's gonna say something before we warm up, or whatever, right before we're about to split off into our indie groups before we play a game and everything. And you gotta have like guys like that aren't just like saying it for attention, which I never tried to. I really tried to motivate my teammates and like get everybody in the mood of like what we need to go do, what needs to be done. Like
gotta get in that mode.
And one of the biggest messages, like, we have to give everything we got. Which is, it's hard to like display that, especially against a team like you should beat. Yeah. But it's like true, like you can't like just go and not. You gotta treat every team the same, and we I think we did. It's just you have to fill that role if that is you, that's what I was.
Absolutely.
Being that kind of leader.
Absolutely, that's a great answer. So this next question is and this might take, I don't know how you're going to answer this, but I'm interested to hear your answer to this. So,
no, for sure.
As a D lineman, how do you set the tone for a defense? Like, what goes through your mind at when you're going on that field and you're a defensive lineman? What are you going to do to show your teammates like this is the tone that needs to be set for this game or for this practice kind of thing?
That's a good question. I think for me, I never really was the player, I guess, that set the tone. It's kind of tough because like when you set the tone for like a game or practice, you obviously got to make a play, but it's got to be like a big play. And I think for me, I was never really that guy. I think the way I set the tone was like doing my job, really, because like I think it's one of those things. It's just you don't want to do too much, but you also don't want to do too little. Like you want to do your job, but also if there's a play to be made, go make it. And I was just the type of guy, like I was always going to do my job and show that like I was going to be able to help other players. Like for example, like we have a middle linebacker who's still there. His name's Jake Adams. He's one of, if not the best linebacker in Division II football, in my opinion, of course, and I'm biased, but he's an animal. Like he's just all over the field tackling people, and me doing my job would favor Jake because he would go and make the play whether it was a 2-yard gain or a 2-yard loss. So I think that's the way I set the tone, but also just like being always conveying messages to the guys, like hey, like let's go, like let's communicate. Like that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing on defense is you got to communicate. Like let's communicate. Like let's go. Like one play at a time, depending on how good or bad the rep is or play is. So just I think setting the tone, but also I'm not saying tone. Sorry. Just conveying communication or just communicating always before a drive, but also doing your job to favor other players.
Okay. I like that answer. And he's not giving himself enough credit because he's super humble. But this guy was still first team all conference and is the 4th leading in career sacks at his school. So don't think that not doing your job is just doing your job. Doing your job, led to him being a dog still at the end of the day on the stat sheet. So the next thing that I'm going to go into, and we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. So playing in the Division II level, do you feel like talent gets overlooked?
100%, I do. And that's one thing. I mean, I even overlooked it too because when I was young, I mean, I was like D1 or it's nothing. Kind of like same way some people were like it's NFL or bust, or NFL or nothing, you know, NFL or die, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But that, I mean, I 100% agree. I mean, like, and even today, like with the transfer portal, there's so many guys that come out of Division II, even Division III, that go to these D1 schools or get opportunities to play in any kind of leagues, whether that's UFL, NFL, CFL. and they're good football players. And you know, my brother who played at Virginia Tech, he told me best. He's like, the biggest difference from D2 to D1 is just the guys up front, which is definitely true.
Trenches.
Yeah, the trenches, which makes sense. But yeah, talent definitely gets overlooked, and I think that's how, you know, a lot of guys go to D2, because there's really good football players that just get overlooked, and you know, they don't get the looks that they deserve, especially if they're D1 talented, and that's just how it works a lot of times. But at the same time, there's some really damn good football at D2. There's some really good football
there
teams.
is.
I mean, Missouri Western was always a pretty good team, and that conference has some good teams. I mean, Ferris State is literally a D1 FCS team playing Division II football.
Yeah.
I mean, and Mankato, there's so many good teams that have great players that play at that level that nobody really knows about. But to me, I also feel like it's starting to kind of change a little bit. I mean, there's so many, like I said, with the transfer portal, there's so many guys that are seeing opportunities. I mean, literally, we had 2 or 3 defensive linemen from my conference. They're now at SDSU, South Dakota State, not in San Diego. But they're at South Dakota State now. So it's kind of changing, but I do think that D2 talent gets overlooked.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And to second that, I mean, I played with guys who are playing, you know, Pro Bowl right now. I'll mention a few, like Sam Webb. He's playing for the Browns right now. He's on active roster playing. CJ Ravenel on active roster playing. I didn't play with Jonathan Owens, but Jonathan Owens did play at Missouri Western, and he's, you know, active roster. He's playing. And then another guy, Devin Burrell, played at Missouri Western. He's playing overseas in the ELF. And he's gotten Special Teams Player of the Year 3 times in a row, and now he's on a contract, and he's getting paid now. He doesn't even have to, you know, all he's doing right now is doing fashion photos and playing football and returning punts and tackling people. Like,
nice. Like, I mean, it's the life.
And that's all from a D2 program. And you mentioned Ferris State, Chambliss.
Yeah, there you go.
He transferred to Ole Miss, and y'all saw what he did at Ole Miss. I mean, he was tearing them DBs up. He was shredding them with his feet and with his arm too.
And even talking to, like, I even talked to my D-line coach about this. Like, he believes that, like, there's so many, like, if you're like, for my position, D-line, if you're a starter or an all-conference player at the NSIC, which is what the conference I played in is called, like, if that's what you were, then you could probably go play at a Division I FCS level, like an SDSU, USD type school. But it's just tough, you know.
I mean, absolutely. Tough. I mean, Missouri Western played Augustana, and y'all played against them, and I think they lost by
like 1 point.
One possession, 1 point, something like that. But I mean, that just goes to show you, like, all over the country, these D2 schools, they all have talent, in different places, and I think it gets overlooked a lot. So.
100%.
My next question is, I guess we kind of talked about it, but I want to hear your answer. So, what do people outside the program misunderstand about Division II football? And this could be like players trying to go into college. This could be people watching on TV. You know, it could be, you know, sports analysts. It could be anything. You know, just your opinion.
I think from for a high school perspective, like D2 is like going to a D2 school. Like, it's, I mean, from what I've been told, it's I mean, look, it's football. Like, there's going to be differences, staff, size of the school, resources, like, it's going to be different, but, like, everything's the same, like, in regards to just how things are structured. Like, it's a college football program at the end of the day. It's just different because it's a smaller level and the money's different, the resources are different. So, like, from the outside looking in as like a college or as a high school going to a college football program that's a D2 program, like, that's just like what it is, but it's not any different. Like, it's just really the resources and the amount of stuff you got. Like, that's just really it. But, like, in regards to being a college football player and being at a D2 program and, like, being at that perspective, what was the question again? Sorry, one more time.
Just what do they misunderstand, like,
okay.
about Division II football?
Yeah, I think going on with what you said, talking about there's guys that, like, you know, from your school that have gone to the league, like, that you can't get to the league. Like, I've had teams at my school come by and look at multiple different players that I played with that got opportunities to play in the league or just had the opportunity to talk to a scout. Like, people think that you go to D2. D3 is definitely harder because every time it's a division lower, it gets harder, but it's not impossible. Like, it's always the saying is that if you can play, they will find you. So if you can play at the D2 level, whether that's, you know, you dominate your All-American or All-Conference, but your film doesn't lie, I mean, obviously you're going to get an opportunity. So I think that's the biggest thing is, like, you just can't get an opportunity. Like, that's not true. It's just harder.
Yeah.
But But you can get an opportunity anywhere. You just got to be good enough. So I think that's the biggest thing is that, like, resource from a high school perspective, like the resources are definitely different, but it's no different than going to like Georgia and practicing, other than the fact that the guys are a little bigger and they're athletically built a little different. And then from my perspective is that like you can't get to the NFL, which is not true. Like your coaches have, a lot of times coaches know NFL scouts.
Yeah.
So
that's a great answer. This next question, so you're preparing to play professionally. So when did that become real for you? When did it become, when did it click? When did it become real?
Well, I mean, that's been a dream of mine, and it was going to be a tough road for me anyways, because I mean, coming from a D2 school, it's always, like I said, it's always going to be tougher, but I got a message from one of my former teammates who plays some professional football, and he's trying to get into the agent stuff, right, the agent business, but one of his agents that he has told me that he wants to see my film, and he's interested in talking to me and everything, and he was just telling me that there might be an opportunity for you to actually like get to the UFL draft and everything, just check out, just send me your film. So I'm actually going to talk to him in the next couple days now that we're kind of getting over the holidays and everything. But that's when it kind of became real, and it's kind of one of those things, like I'm still kind of trying to figure it out. I still got some time, not really sure what lies ahead with it, but I mean, if it's an actual opportunity, I want to keep going, and it's exciting, I mean, it's an opportunity to keep playing football at a level that I would love to play at. But like I said, I just got to take it day by day, just kind of see what the opportunity looks like, and if it's actually legit, like just go with it, because you only play football for so long. And if it's a true opportunity, I don't want to look back and regret not taking it. So
no, absolutely. I know it's probably really exciting, and I know you probably going through a lot and having to deal with a lot of stuff, but that's awesome. You're handling it well, and I'm glad that you're getting that opportunity, like how you said, coming from a D2, how you've applied yourself at the school, and now you're finally kind of getting those flowers and getting that recognition, and now it's time for you to kind of go to that next step, and I just think that's awesome.
I appreciate that.
So what's the process been when it's been coming to well, you already kind of said that, so I won't ask this question other than I'll ask about the preparing your film part. What's kind of the process when it comes to preparing your film and cutting it up and everything that?
I mean, obviously, I think it's a combination of things, but I think the two biggest ones is that making plays is the number one thing, like showing that you're making tackles, TFL sacks, especially in my position, playing defense mainly. But I think it's also like showing that you're doing things that is causing a play to be made. So like, for example, when we played a school called Wayne State as our first home game, I was playing zero technique, and we were in our nickel package, and I was pass rushing the center, and I didn't get the sack or anything, but I was able to get close enough to the quarterback where I got my hand up and I tipped the ball, and it was a much more wobbly and kind of weird looking ball the way it came out. And my really good, one of our DBs, a really good DB at that school and at the Division II level, his name's Keegan Mountain, he got a pick. He got his first pick of the season. And I mean, he made the play, great play by him, but I was able to help him.
It's a team effort. It takes all 11 guys. So.
And it's one of those things, and then just even like pressure. So it's just showing that you can do things that can disrupt the plays in any kind of way, and just showing also your relentless effort, that you're always hustling, especially as a D lineman. It's important to show your effort and your hustle and everything. So I think those are the biggest things, just like showing that you cause plays to be made because of what you're doing, and also you're making plays.
You play D-line, like y'all gotta, sometimes even if you're not making the play like you said, sometimes you just gotta cause havoc, and you gotta make it, make him force the quarterback, force him to scramble sometimes, or force him to make a quick decision. And sometimes, like how you said, when you got your hand on it, he threw it probably out of a quick decision, and it ended up being a turnover. So I mean, that's a great answer. I love that. So my next question for you is, so what parts of your game translate best into the next level?
Man, I think the way I'm able to I think my pass rush ability is like, looking at that, I think I'm able to make quick decisions with what they're giving me. I mean, it's kind of, I think that's one thing that film study comes into a lot, is like understanding, okay, when they set, like how high do they set, what are their hands like, and just being able to read off of what they're giving me and be able to make a quick decision there. I think being quick with it is so important with how good guys are at the next level. I think that's one thing, but also I think my relentlessness of just always trying to find a way to make the ball bounce around or try to make a play, make a TFL, and just relentless effort every play. I think that shows a lot, and just also my get off. Like I think I just have a really good get off, especially when it's third down, or even if it's like a choice down, like 2nd and 10 or 1st and 10, like just how I get off the ball and just attack that offensive tackle or guard every play like it's like 4th down, like just or 3rd and long, like just always being relentless, fast get off, and always being able to have good reactions to what I'm getting. Yeah. And also being a good teammate and doing my job, of course.
No, I like that answer, and I like how you brought up the relentless effort part, because I mean, you remember that game when it was the Cowboys and it was the Eagles, and there was that punt. It was that punt.
The first time or second time?
The second time, I think. When they ended up, I think it was when the Cowboys beat them.
Yeah, the Cowboys.
And there was that one punt play, and that one special teams player, he got put on his butt. I remember I was watching it, and everybody started like going ooh, and they started laughing when he got put on his butt. Yeah. And I seen him. He's still running. I'm watching. I'm like, he's still running. Yeah. He ends up running down there, getting his hat on the ball and forcing a fumble. Yeah. And that was pure effort.
The game.
Yeah. Someone reposted on Twitter and said, football is really just about effort. And I think you saying that, I think it will, take you a long way, especially wherever you go, because I mean, it just depends on how much more you want it than the guy across from you, than your opponent. So I think that's a great answer.
Yeah, and I think sometimes like that's the thing is like learning now is like, I never came off the field, so I'd always be tired. Yeah. But like it's one of those things that you kind of just got pushed through because that's just the circumstance you're in. Yeah. But like you still got to give and my effort's gonna look a lot different than a linebacker's effort when he's just as tired as me. You know what I mean? Yeah. But being able to show like that you're going like I mean one of my plays I give an example of the effort play was it was a pass play, it was 3rd and long or something, and they got a 1st down. But I was able to run to the ball and tackle the ball carrier before he could get even closer to the end zone. Yeah. So it's one of those things. It's just like you making that second effort play is something that can prevent, something bad from happening. And that's what teams want to see. Like, are you always in the picture? Yeah. And that's why I always tried to be was in the picture.
Absolutely. That's a great answer, man. I got 2 more questions, and then we can kind of just talk from there. So this next question is, what advice would you give to a high school or a college D lineman that is chasing the same dream?
Yeah, I mean, from a high school to college perspective, you're trying to get recruited. I mean, like just keep working your tail off. I mean, everyone's path is so different. Like I had a lot of friends when I was in high school that were, 3, 4, 5 stars, which stars don't matter, of course, but I mean, that obviously will help in college recruiting. But don't let that discourage you because their path is different. Like, keep going to camps, keep meeting people, keep learning, keep finding ways to improve your game, because the more film you can put out there and the more you can show your play, the opportunity will come there. Yeah. And even if it's D1, D2, it's an opportunity nonetheless, and you can always find a way to get to where you want to get to at the end of the day, especially with transfer portal craziness and everything. You just gotta never stop working, always stay hungry. And then from a college perspective, like trying to get to the next level, I think the most important thing is like, and like we were talking about earlier, like the off season, it's easy to do drills, it's easy to work out, it's easy to do 7-on-7, all that stuff, and work on your craft then. But you got to carry that on and keep that consistency even when you're feeling your worst throughout the season and practice. Yeah. And when you're just dog tired and you don't want to be there, you got to find ways to stay positive and find ways to get better and enjoy your time, because the better that you can get when you're getting live reps in practice before you play the game, then the more likely you have a chance of actually going to make a play in the situation you guys are doing team in or you're doing drills in or whatever. So just always keeping that consistency of being better and finding ways to improve your game, even when your body's at your worst and you're tired and it's the middle of the season. Just finding ways to just continue to want to be out there, get better and improve. Like, that'll take you such a long way, and that's ultimately what helped me, was just enjoying my time being out there and wanting to get better, like liking getting better, because the process is hard for everybody. But the second you realize that you find a way to love it, that's when you're gonna really have a big step over everybody else. So I think that's the biggest things.
Yeah, it's inspirational, man. I love doing this. I love hearing these answers, man. I hope if you are listening and you are in high school or college and maybe you're feeling discouraged or anything like that, you really took what he said to heart, because that was a really good answer. Sometimes backs against the wall, you just got to go out and get it, and you just got to take it for yourself and be consistent, do whatever you can. That's sometimes what it comes with football, and sometimes what it comes with being a man. It's just kind of how life works sometimes, and it's just a part of it, and I love it.
For sure. And you'll never, and I'm not gonna name names, but there are guys who are stars that didn't really have great college careers, and that doesn't matter.
I know some too.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it don't mean anything, you know, and that,
stars don't mean nothing, guys.
And that's what's crazy, because it's like, when you grow up, you don't know any better. You know, you're just like as a senior, looking at even guys who I'm still friends with to this day who were 3 stars. It's like, you don't know any better. Like, dang, like, I mean, they're so much better than me. But it's like, some of them actually went on and continued to play and had good careers, but some I never heard anything about. You know, because some people are just born genetically built different genetically at a young age, and they're able to do things that you can't. But it's not like you're not able to do those things. It's just their opportunities and their genetics and just what they were given by God is just it's just different than you. You know, I was able to become the way I was because I worked hard, but I also enjoyed working hard. I enjoyed the weight room. I enjoyed training, like, and that's one of the things that I enjoyed about college the most. It wasn't football. It was like training with my teammates and training. Like,
no facts.
It's the best. Like, that's like the best time, dude.
Yeah.
Seriously, like, for me, it was like, I mean, it sucks that we had to work. Like, at least I did. I don't know about you, but like, I had to work.
No, I did too.
But like, literally, it's like you wake up early, you run, and then you lift. And then if you work, you go work. But like most college towns, there's nothing going on anyway, so you might as well go work. But if you don't have to work, you literally can do whatever you want. Go hang out with your teammates, just chill in the house all day, play video games. You know, just do whatever. And that's like the best. And I think that since that's not forever, like once that's over with, it's like, dang. Like, but that's it's one of those things like you don't want to take for granted. But yeah, just like the stars stuff, it don't really matter. And you realize that as you get older so much more.
Yeah, I would say when it comes to the stars and stuff, I would say what matters more is the person you are and the person who you show at, you know, like how you're talking about at camps, showing face like that, your and film and your grades and connections too, and your grades too, because I mean, if you got a 2-something GPA, I mean, no, they're not going to take you. You got to have a good GPA. Yeah. So I think that's very important too. And I like how you were talking about, you know, how much fun it is to be with your team and be with your college teammates or even high school teammates. Yeah. Because when I was at Missouri Western, I mean, I worked at a Ford dealership. Okay. And so I would, you know, I'd have morning workouts, and then I'd go to work at about like 9:30, and then I worked till about 5. And then after that, I mean, me and my teammates, we would all just hang out after that point, and, you know, we would talk about, you know, how excited we are for the season coming up. You know, during fall camp and during summer workouts, like, everybody's really excited about what's to come. And so I think that's
it's like one of those things you might as well go work because you got nothing else going on. Because it's like you only play so many video games and actually enjoy it. You know, or just watch movies or whatever. Like, you actually gotta go do something, but it's also nice to have your own money.
Yeah, no, facts. Facts.
For sure.
So this is the last question here. Sweet. So what is one thing that you wish you knew earlier in your career?
Man, I mean, I wouldn't change anything about my career and how, because I mean, my path made me who I am today. You know, whether that's high school to college or college to, you know, today. But I mean, I think I wish I knew how to enjoy everything so much more, you know, and just have more fun, because you gotta take the game seriously when it's time to take it seriously, which is, you know, when it's game time and you're in the middle of a game or you're gonna play a game. But I wish I, you know, understood that it's important to have more fun with it, because absolutely. that's how you get better. That's how you get better, wanting to do it, having a love and passion for getting better at it, but having fun doing it. And I had the most fun I think I ever played football this year, and I was able to have my best season because of it, because I had great teammates around me that encouraged me and supported me and wanted me to be great just like I wanted them to be great. But I also you know, I had fun with those guys as well. And like my teammate who I mentioned earlier, Gabe Gutierrez, I mean, that's my guy, that's my brother. I mean, we talk every day, and he really just he just has fun and just is a reckless, crazy ass dude on the field. Yeah. I mean, he's kind of a freak too genetically, but like he just has so much fun, and when I see him having so much fun, it just makes me want to do the same thing. So I wish I knew to do that sooner, because I think my path may have been a little different, but I still wouldn't change anything. Like, if you show me my path and how it would look and how I would be at the end of the day, I wouldn't change anything. I'd still do the exact same way, because in my tough times and my challenges and the times I didn't want to play football anymore, I wanted to quit, made me who I am today. And just sticking through it, just, you know, it shows how committed you are, your perseverance, and just how, you know, there is no quit in that person. Yeah. So
no, that's awesome. That's an awesome answer. Man, this stream has been going really good. I think we got a lot of video to uncover. I'm gonna have so many like clips and reels.
You're gonna have to edit a lot. I told you I talk a lot.
No, that's good. I mean, that's what I need. Listen, if you guys were tuned into this stream, I really do appreciate it. And Max, I appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
Like I said, I really do appreciate y'all. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube. It's XAceXST2X. And then the Twitch is the same handle, XAceXST2X. And just give it a like and a follow. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate y'all. If y'all watching once again, please have a blessed rest of y'all day. And, stay easy.